you've seen it before. The client starts strong. The case is solid. Medical care is progressing. The attorney is optimistic. Everyone's aiming toward a fair settlement. But life doesn't pause for the legal process. Rent is late. Groceries are thin. Missed appointments start to pile up. And just like that, the pressure of surviving today starts to outweigh the promise of justice tomorrow. Then comes the words, I just want it to be done. Can we settle now? Even half would help me breathe. And you know what's happening. They're not doubting the case. They're drowning. As a case manager, you're more than a coordinator. You're often the first line of emotional and practical defense. You see what the attorney might miss. You hear the quiet panic in a client's voice before they say the hard part out loud. And now you're in a tough spot. You want to protect their case value. And you also want to protect their life from falling apart in the meantime. That's where pre-settlement funding, when used responsibly, becomes something more than money. It becomes a bridge, not to luxury, just to enough to hold on. Before we talk about funding, let's talk about the heartbeat of every injury case, value. Case value isn't just a number. It's a reflection of everything your client has lost and endured. Their medical bills, past, present, and future, missed paychecks, long-term limitations, the nights they couldn't sleep, the hobbies they can't enjoy, the future they didn't plan for, but now must live with. This is why timing matters so much. A case value isn't set in stone. It grows, it evolves. As the client heals or struggles, new documentation, diagnosis, and treatments paint a fuller picture. When a client settles too early, that picture is incomplete. The value gets locked in too soon, and often far too low. Most people don't realize how long these cases take. They start with energy, hope, maybe even excitement. But time wears people down. A few months pass. Pain lingers. Money runs out. And hope becomes exhaustion. That's when you hear it. Even if it's not everything, it's something. I can't wait any longer. But they're not being impatient. They're being human. Still, once a case is closed, there's no going back. No matter how serious the injury becomes, no matter what diagnosis comes next, no matter how much care they'll need. That's why your role in that moment is crucial. You don't just manage paperwork, you protect possibilities. You see the warning signs, the missed therapy, skipped calls, sleepless expressions. You know when someone is considering walking away, not because the case is weak, but because their circumstances are. And that's when you can step in, not to fix it, but to offer options. Because the longer they hold out, the more their case can reflect the truth of what they've endured. But they can't hold out on hope alone. They need air. They need options. They need someone to tell them there's a way through. You might be wondering, just like they are, if my client gets funding, will it hurt their settlement? Here's the honest answer. No, pre-settlement funding does not reduce case value. The legal worth of the case, the damage, the evidence, the future care needs remains unchanged. Funding is not in lieu of the value of the case. It's in lieu against the future proceeds. Here's the difference. Case value equals what the case is worth. Client proceeds equals what the client takes home after attorney fees, medical liens, and yes, funding, if applicable. So yes, funding affects take-home payout, but only if the client wins, and only if they couldn't have held on without it. But if the case is lost, they owe nothing. That's the power of non-recourse funding. It's not a loan. It's a calculated risk that we take so they don't have to. Let's be honest. The real threat to case value isn't responsible funding. It's early settlement. Clients who settle out of desperation don't get more money. They leave it behind. Why? Because they can't afford to finish treatment, return to work slowly, provide full medical documentation, wait for real negotiations to happen. And that's how a strong case becomes a low-ball payout. The pressure won't go away, but with funding, it becomes manageable. Here's how you, as a case manager, can approach funding the right way. 1. Start by listening. Not every story needs a solution, just space to breathe. 2. Only suggest it when the need is real. Funding is a lifeline, not a shortcut. 3. Loop the attorney in early. Collaboration protects strategy. And 4, choose a funding partner who respects your role. You're not a middleman, you're an advocate. And 5, keep checking in after funding. Your client's journey doesn't end with a check. It continues with recovery. Lawsuits take time, recovery takes longer, and clients aren't just fighting for justice, they're fighting to survive until it comes. That's why your role matters so much. You're the one they trust. You're the one they call when the lights are about to shut off. The one they thank months later when the full settlement finally arrives. Legal funding isn't magic, but when used wisely, it can make the difference between caving and continuing. At Stonewood Funding, we exist to support your efforts, not complicate them. We communicate clearly. We move fast. We never pressure. And we never charge if the case loses. So when your client says, I can't do this anymore, you can say, there might be help. Let's talk about what's possible. Learn more or refer a client at stonewoodfunding.com or call us at 844-544-3863. You're not just managing a case, you're helping someone hold on. We see that, and we're honored to help you carry the weight.